Well, Simon Butterworth stopped by yesterday.
Yeah.
He just waltzed on into the room and
Yeah.
and chatted with us for a few minutes. And Simon did a race. I think it was last weekend, and I believe it was a sprint triathlon.
Yep.
Um, the week before that, you had done the podcast with Mark Allen and Terry and Bobby, or not a podcast, a webinar.
Yeah. Webinar. Yeah.
Yeah, and Simon listened to that webinar, and he had a particular sticking point. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, but one of the reasons that he tuned in, or one of his goals in watching or listening, it was because he had a sticking point in his 5K time. He hadn't taken off any time in his 5K time in several years, and he wanted to get back down to a 5K time in a sprint triathlon that he'd done several years ago. And I think he said he took 40 seconds off
Yeah.
his 5K time
No,
after listening to a webinar.
yeah.
And so, these are the same guys that are going to be at the camp. If Simon Butterworth could do that at age, is he 68?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's faster than most 20-year-olds, but
Right. If he can do that at age 68 after 1 hour of listening to a webinar with these same people, imagine what people are going to be able to do performance-wise and just satisfaction-wise after spending a week.
yeah, exactly. And that's really the main thing that we've found talking to people here is that mindset and the perception on efficiency. So what I want to do the first day of the camp is we'll bring everyone in around midday on Sunday. We're going to have a team house, which is going to be where we're going to cook meals for everyone. So meals are covered for the week because I want to save everyone that expense, but also use meals as teaching for nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And we have professional triathlete Kim Schwabenbauer, episode 5, who is a registered dietitian and awesome pro triathlete who's going to be supervising the meal preparation. I think your sister will actually be chief cook and bottle washer. So we're going to have a coach's house where we're going to have optional but highly encouraged meals on breakfast and dinner, and then we'll pack out lunches. And then we're going to go to the Retool headquarters and training, a Retool Fit Center, where we're going to film all of our stuff for the week, which is awesome. They got a great conference room, big area for filming, but it's also going to be awesome because Retool is just a phenomenal company that's going to be running our cycling days. So the first day on Sunday, we'll meet at the Retool Center, and we're going to talk. I want to do 3 different lectures that you'll do, and I'm going to probably do one on the meaning of triathlon and history of sport, and you'll do a lecture on form, fitness, and then mindset. And we'll talk about what we'll cover that week in the camp. On form, we're really going to dive deep into that, learning people how to switch on while they're training and think and be conscious. And then we'll talk about fitness, not that we're going to do it at the camp, but how do you start thinking about form in your fitness, and how do you design workouts to incorporate form improvements? You're spending 10 hours a week training, you might as well think about form instead of just go to sleep while you're training, which most people are sleepwalking through their training. And then finally, we'll talk about mindset and what we're going to learn that week, especially on the Mark Allen day. So that's the first day. The second day, we're going to get up. Jay Johnson, the Nike running coach, is going to do a couple talks, one on running form and building that chassis, and talk about what we're going to do practically that afternoon, because every day I wanted to have learning and then application. Then he's going to talk about a second hour. He's going to talk about how to incorporate form into everything that you do as a runner, because there's a mindset shift that people need to make. Then we'll go out, we'll do a running event with Jay that afternoon, 2 hours, drills, core strengthening exercises, and he's going to show you what he has his runners do every day to become national champion runners, which is going to be awesome. And he's also going to have a couple of his runners on the field with us, helping us. So they're going to be demonstrating and helping. So small groups of 20, because there's a maximum of 40 people at the camp, and then we'll break into 2 groups. The other group is going to go to the Boulder Running Company. And we just saw yesterday, like, world champion marathoner Mark Platchis fitting a bunch of athletes. And I don't know if Mark will be that day, but he's trained an entire staff to pick running shoes, get this, not based on how it looks, but actually how they help you run, which is like a bike fit for runners.
Yeah.
And they film you on a treadmill, they get behind you with an iPad, and then they show you in slow motion how you're running, how you're pronating, and then they pick a neutral shoe, one that helps you with pronation. Whether or not you have plantar fasciitis or other problems, they help you do that. So that's going to be an amazing day. And then that will be your afternoon with Jay Johnson. Tuesday, I just lined up with Retool. Crowey's bike fitter will be teaching a class on bike fitting. So the guy who fits Craig Alexander, the 3-time Ironman world champion, will be doing the bike fitting training. Retool, because we're there the whole week, if you love their presentation and love what they do on bike fitting, you can certainly get a discounted bike fit with them. Like, they're giving us a severe discount on the regular rate. I think it's almost 50% off. They're going to give the campers on a bike fit at the Retul headquarters with the people that train all the Retul people all over the world, including Crow's Bike Fitter. So it's a pretty cool value add for the campers. And on Wednesday, you've said before, I think brilliantly, that your form is your fit on the bike, right? If you don't have good form or fit, you're never going to have good form.
Right.
So we need to talk about how form and fit work together, why it's so important, especially for triathletes, even more so than road bikers, because you don't get out of the saddle. You're just there locked into your bike. And then what we'll talk about is form drills. Once you have your fit right, what can you do to make your cycling technique better? High cadence cycling versus low cadence and different things. And then we're going to go out that afternoon with these awesome Retool people. And yourself, you're a level 2 USA cycling coach, a crit racing coach. So we'll just be going out and doing technical rides rather than a huge workout. We're just going to go show people for an hour, hour and a half, what you can do on the bike to make cycling workouts interesting, because you can make them interesting.
Oh, yeah.
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 So if you want to throw anything in there, I know I just went on because we're trying to get all this in, but
yeah, that's okay. No, I love coaching bike stuff. I was actually a bike level 2 cycling coach before I finished my USAT triathlon certification, and my very first athletes were cyclists. And I love teaching bike form. I love talking to people about technique. And much like running and swimming, you can watch someone who's on a bicycle and tell how comfortable they are.
Yeah.
So fit is one thing. Experience, generally, by the time you've been cycling for a number of years, your form is probably pretty good. Your body figures it out. But there are ways that you can accelerate efficiency on the bike so that you're more comfortable and you get more out of your training, and so that the training you're doing